Thomas Campion belongs to the Elizabethan age, an age that we all know about. And I often wonder why we call them by the name of the ruler. I would love to call it the age of Shakespeare, because Shakespeare was a figure who overshadowed probably all the other writers of that age. A dramatist, but also a poet. So the poet today, Thomas Campion, is one of the lesser known poets. People thought of him as a real Renaissance man. You know what that means? That means he did many things, what we could call multi-talented. Because remember, Thomas Campion was a composer, a poet, a physician, and also someone who tried his hand at law. But the pity is, there are many poets, there are many artists who, in their own days, in the age in which they lived, were probably known and appreciated. But down the ages, we have almost forgotten them, pushed them to some corner of our memory. But when they lived, when I'm thinking of Campion, for example, I remember how he spoke about the vulgar custom of rhyming. That's what he called it. So he propagated the idea that we should not have rhyme as being the most important quality of poetry. I would think that there are many such poets whose contribution to the art of their age has been forgotten. Do we need to remember them? I think yes. As lovers of literature, we must. He was, as I mentioned, a versatile Renaissance man. And his contribution is the ability to write poetry without insisting on rhyming. Thomas Campion, 1567 to 1620. A variety of poetry. He wrote about 100 lute songs. The lute was quite a popular musical instrument. So these poems, these songs, were set to music and sung to the accompaniment of the lute. We have his masks, which were used for dancing. I want us to remember that the word mask that I refer to here, which Milton also wrote, M-A-S-Q-U-E, right? Not the other mask, the face mask that we talk about. He also had a technical treatise on music. He wrote in Latin a collection of panegyrics. His poems were, again I repeat, quite popular then, but sank into oblivion with the passage of time. Follow thy fair sun. Is it about the sun or is it about the shadow? Let me tell you, maybe a spoiler alert, by telling you that it is about unrequited love. Love needs two people. One here is the sun, the other is the shadow. Ironic indeed that this was written by Campion, who very soon became a shadow, lost in the brilliance of other great poets. So let me read the first few lines of the poem. Follow thy fair sun, unhappy shadow, though thou be black as night, and she made all of light, yet follow thy fair sun, unhappy shadow. Follow her whose light thy light depriveth. Okay, so you have the sun, who's probably the beloved, and you have the shadow, which is probably the lover. So he says, what are you doing? All that you can do is to follow her. She's like the sun, bright and brilliant, and you are just like a shadow. But remember, one needs the sun in order to have a shadow. So think of the sun and think of the shadow. One is full of light and the other is dark. Though here thou livest disgraced, and she in heaven placed, yet follow her, whose light the world reviveth. Everybody is struck by the brilliance of the beloved. Maybe the beauty, maybe the nature, maybe the temperament. The poet doesn't go on. I would like to think of it merely as physical beauty here. So, you livest disgraced because you are just a dark shadow. Follow those pure beams whose beauty burneth, yet so have scorched thee, as thou still black must be, till her kind beams thy black to brightness turneth. You seem to have no life, no identity without her, because she burns you, but again you need her in order to have some light. Follow her while yet her glory shineth. There comes a luckless night that will dim all her light. That's the hope, because once it's night, there's no brilliance of the sun. And this black unhappy shade divineth. Follow still, since so thy fates ordained. The sun must have his shade, till both at once do fade. The sun still proud, the shadow still disdained. One is incomplete without the other, but there is still hope, because once there is night, there is no brilliance of the sun. Is there going to be any requiting of love? I don't know. I'm only guessing that maybe there will come a day when this love, which was unrequited so far, becomes no more unrequited. The hope which every lover continues to have. The theme of the poem is probably about the ability of the sun, the human spirit, maybe, to overcome all kinds of hurdles. The rhythmic and musical quality of the poem is equally important, because when we are looking at beauty, I think when we are looking at the pursuit of happiness, there has to be music, there has to be rhythm, which the poet is able to bring out very, very beautifully here. A very simple rhyme scheme and very, very simple figures of speech. You have the metaphor and the symbol, which has become probably second habit to most of us, since we look at them all the time. And there is the symbolism of the sun and the symbolism of the shadow. One is light in all kinds, and one, of course, is the shadow, which is dependent on the sun, on the light, but is yet subdued, blackened only because of the brilliance of the sun. A simple poem? Yes, but I think a beautiful one. What is so appealing about this poem? I think it is the contrast. And human nature, as is mine and yours too, is to look at everything with black and white, with light and darkness, the binaries. And sometimes I wonder, where does grey figure in all this? Well, to come back to the poem, I think the contrast of the brilliance of the beloved with the darkness of the lover, darkened probably by the fact that his love has not been responded to. Maybe it is that. I think that's what appealed to me in this poem. The poor lover. Well, it could be the poor beloved in some other case. But in this case, he's waiting for the night. Because it's only in the night time that the brilliance of the beloved could fade into darkness. Yes, contrasts are interesting, both in literature and in life.